Hi everyone, Pliers here. Welcome to the final part of the bike build part 15. Before we get started today, make sure you sub to the channel, click the bell notification, give us a thumbs up and leave any comments. I do answer them all. Everything you see me using today, all the tools, products, glues, etc. all linked in the description down below. You can go to the forum to a big long list with links to where you can buy them from. And if you see anything, go over there and have a look. So, part 15, it's been a long time in the making. Sorry about my gag last time, the other day. I know I fooled a few people, and well, it was a joke. It was funny. Most people saw the funny side of it. What was funny was the people that didn't actually carry on watching it past the intro to the bit where I said I'm only joking. I thought it was totally genuine. So yeah, my acting abilities must be quite good. So it's good to see. So in this part now, we've got final assembly. We've got the foot pegs, shifter, rear brake, some more hosing to put in, bodywork to polish up, bodywork to attach, loads of different little bits and bobs to do. So we're not going to linger around because this video is 30 minutes long as it is. So I'm going to cut to the chase as quick as possible. So we're not going to show as in-depth parts that don't really need it, but parts that do, like putting on the tyre decals, I've left that a little bit more in-depth so you can see where it's going. But I think it needs painting off camera. I'm not really showing as much because it doesn't really need it. So it's kept the part a bit shorter because it was like 3 hours of footage for this, and I've got it down to half an hour. So yeah, and as you see at the end, it turned out well. I'm happy with it. There's a few things I'll chat about after the video that I'm not particularly happy with. But on the whole, I'm happy how it looks. And let's get cracking with the video and we'll come back and chat about it in a minute. Right then, so where are we at today? First of all, we've got our gear shifter, pedal and linkage. So we're going to modify the kit one and use our Top Studio one. This is the kit one supplied. It's not too bad out of the box, to be fair. But the Top Studio one is an improvement. We've also got our Top Studio foot pegs as well to use, which are resin and are a massive improvement over the kit ones. So they need cutting off. We need to cut off parts for the shift linkage as well. There you go, you get a pack of 2 turned aluminium. That's the shift linkage on the real bike, as you can see. So we've got some anodized parts we're going to have to paint in later. So with our Tamiya cutters, we're going to snip off the plastic linkage off each end. We don't need this anymore. We'll then sand them smooth, making sure we don't lose any detail or definition of the parts. We've got a 400 UMP thinny stick, and then we use a buffer to clean it up fully. Just look for the point you've just cut off, and just make sure it's sanded nice and smooth. We've now got a 0.3mm PCB drill bit, and it's in our Funtech scribing handle because it fits in there perfect. It doesn't fit in a normal pin vise, unfortunately. I like these because they are quite precise at getting started. So we're a 0.3mm hole in to begin with. Offer up our shift linkage to see how much bigger we need to go, and at a guess I'm going to go 0.5. So we'll grab our normal 0.5mm shanked bit in our Tamiya pin vise. And carefully, we're going to open this up to 0.5. Got no real pressure on there at all. Obviously, we don't want to go straight through because we go right up our thumbnail, which wouldn't be good at all. And we're just taking it deep enough and removing as much material we need to get the turn piece to fit in snugly. And we're going to drop it. And as you can see, it's a nice tight fit, holds itself in. Not a problem at all. So there we go. There's the rear part of the part done. Same with the front. Again, 0.3. Careful drilling. Make sure you don't go right through. Trust me, it's very painful if you do. And then the 0.5 again as well. The Tamiya pin vise is excellent. It's ball raced at the back, so it's nice and smooth. Quick test fit again into the front piece. Perfect. And there we go. There's our a fabricated piece ready for primer. So foot pegs up next. We've got our JLC razor saw. And I'm just going to very carefully, quite a hard part to cut because you can't lay it down flat, so I find this the best method. Just lightly cut it off, give it another quick sand to smooth it off. And then same with our foot peg. We need to leave the little peg sticking out, so go flush up to the plug itself. As you can see, we've got a hole in there already because that's where the locating point on the bike goes. So offering up the peg, we can see it's going to fit in nicely. Some CA glue will hold that in just well. And I'm just going to mock it up before we commit to gluing the foot peg on. So we've got it all mocked up, we just popped it on. Once you're happy, we'll pop a little dab of CA glue in the hole where the foot peg's going to sit. Make sure you don't go right through to the bike locating point. We don't want to get any glue on that just yet. And then pop the footrest on. Use your references, make sure you get the angle right because they don't sit straight, they sit angled forward. Obviously, think of the rider's boot and how it sits on there. Once you're happy you've got it in place, take it off. And then we've got all our parts mounted on cocktail sticks, ready for prime. These are all going to be primed in UMP black. And then sprayed in LP11. And then detail painted later on. So, front of the bike, we've got our MotoGP sensor, which is that little black thing on the side of the fork. We've got a Top Studio one here, which we have to assemble ourselves. Now, quite often these are red. On the Hondas, they're black. That's what my references show. So we're going to paint this in black. So you've got a few components to assemble, as you can see about instructions. We've got a bit of heat shrink to put on and shrink and cut to size. And then we've got the extendable piece out the center of the sensor itself. There you go. Just see me inserting it in place and dropping it again. So what we're doing, we're going to mock it all up, offer it up to the bike to get the correct size. And then we'll glue it together and then we can commit to paint. As you can see, it slides in and out. We need some heat shrink on the end, so just pop it on a little bit. Then grab your lighter. You don't want the flame to hit it, just the heat. Let the heat shrink do its job. Just a quick waft over. Both sides, there we go. Let it cool. Then we can cut it to size. Like so. And there we are. So that's that on. Perfect. So, a little bit of white glue in there. We're going to snip the end off. We don't need this on the resin. Just snip it smooth. There we go. Once we're happy with that, grab a cotton bud. We can wipe off the excess glue. Just measuring it to make sure it's the correct length as before. I think it's about 1 centimeter from the point it goes into the sensor itself. Grab a cotton bud, remove the excess glue. Let that dry. Quick mock up of length, absolutely perfect. Always double check before you commit to glue or paint. And then there we go, handily mounted on a cocktail stick for some UMP black primer again. Now we've got some textured black zero paint. Give this a good shake. We're going to use this on the seat pads. It sprays a texture pattern. It gives a good rough texture to simulate a seat cover. So, a couple of light coats. Build it up as you go. We're through the 0.35 apex. Sorry, we're through the 0.2 apex at about 20 psi. What I like to do on the last coat is come a little bit further away from what you're spraying and let the paint dry before it hits it, and it gives it a lot more of a rougher texture. As you can see, it's getting a good texture already. 2 or 3 light coats. Like I say, on the last one here, we give it another light coat and then we start coming away from it a little bit. So there you go, nice texture there. There we go, we come away a little bit distance. It adds a bit more of a textured effect and looks really good. Now we've got some clear paints. We've got LP68 clear blue and X27 clear red. I've recently sold all my X and XF range of paints and sold my blue by accident. So I resorted to a lacquer one, which actually worked really well. So what we're doing, we're detail painting the anodized part according to my reference. We're a little bit further away. I thought it was zoomed in and it wasn't, unfortunately. But you'll see them in a minute. So it's basically a blue piece one end and a couple of red sections, or vice versa. And all we're doing is just precision painting. I've got the optivisor on. We've got a very small Winsor & Newton paintbrush. And just take our time, working our way around, just detail paint it. That'll leave that nice anodized blue and red effect we see. Now, tyre decals. These are Tamiya's notorious tyre decals. We've got a cotton bud, some water. We're going to clean the tyre first. We've got dust and all sorts of muck on there. So we'll do the whole tyre eventually, but for now we're going to do just where we're going to apply these decals front and rear. Now your front wheel should spin, but the back one will only go a certain distance before the chain stops you, so don't force it. So pick a point where you want your decals, peel the protective film off, and then pick the decal you want and cut as close to possible as you can. Not right up to it, but just as close as you possibly can. Then there's another backing paper. This is what actually holds the decal on. So we need to carefully peel that back. And as you can see, there's our decal reverse printed now on there. So wet the area we're going to go. I have to dip my finger in the water and saturate the area. Then pop the decal in position. Make sure you're committed because obviously you can't turn the wheel. Pop it in place, let the water saturate through the decal and the backing paper itself. Then wet your finger again and wet all the top of it as well. Now I find leave this for 5 minutes. Make sure you're in the position that you want. Leave this for 5 minutes. Then come back with a cotton bud and lightly remove all the excess water. So we're just rolling and dabbing rather than dragging at the minute. Just get rid of all that excess water. Then grab your tweezers and gently lift one corner. If you lift it and the decal comes with it, put it back down, give it a few more minutes. If it comes off, just gently peel it all the way back. And there we go. That's it off the backing paper. Again, remove any excess moisture. There we are. Again, just take your time. Don't rush it. You will end up with a little edge that's raised. You can only fold it over with your finger like so. Just do it very carefully. Just make sure you get rid of all that moisture. Then what I like to do is grab a decal solution. So we're going for the UMP Strong. We're going for the middle one. We've got our thin water brush. Now, I wouldn't normally recommend going straight to strong, but I've used these before. I know that they can handle it. So I've gone straight to it. A little light application over the top. Getting all those edges. Sure the whole thing's covered and properly pushed down, and then leave that be. So back on to our rear brake lever. We're going to detail paint some of the parts as my reference pictures show in black. So the bottom part of this was painted in LP11, and the top upper reservoir section, I add a little bit of metallic grey in there to darken it a touch, give it a little bit of tonal variation. Obviously it's your vision of what it looks like, but to me they look different colours in the pictures. So that's what we did. We've got a little bit of CA glue now. And we're going to pop our part in place. Make sure we're orientated the right way. Two locating points, the little tab we cut shorter earlier. And then there's a top point just under the reservoir where it just slots onto the bike itself. Make sure they're straight. And when you're happy, leave it alone. Now, if you're using a rest like I've got there, a piece of foam, when you spin it round, make sure it doesn't catch on there again, because I have ripped them off before. We've got some Vallejo model colour black. We're just going to put the rubberized part onto the front of the footrest. It's a rough raised texture on the real bike, so brush painting it is ideal. No problem at all. So now we need to assemble our shift lever linkage. So dab of CA glue, that's one part in. Now we're using a thicker, slower setting CA glue so we can put these parts on, then pop them on the bike and manipulate them before they fully dry. Because it does go at a little bit of a funny angle, and we need to be able to maneuver it to get it to sit correctly. Again, just take your time. Make sure everything's orientated the right way. Remember, if you're handling CA glue, if you move a finger, wipe your finger off. I got a bad habit of doing it on my jogging bottoms. Just so you're not touching any other parts with the glue. Now, we've already mock fitted this, so we know it fits. Everything's the right length. So we're going to dab the CA glue on straight away. We'll then put the front part on first. And then pop the back part on and angle everything correctly. We want the foot peg straight. So the shifter linkage will go on a slight angle. Use your tweezers to manipulate everything into place. And once you're happy, again, leave it be. And as you can see, there we go. We're all in place. You can see our painted anodized blue and red parts there. They look really good. It's a definite improvement over the kit part. With not that much work, to be honest. It certainly looks a lot better. We've got our trusty old Tamiya panel line wash. We're going to give everything a wash here. Sadly, it'll all be out of focus. Because as usual, I'm zoomed right in. It's a real bad habit I need to get out of. I zoom in to show you things, and then forget to zoom out a touch again to do things. And what it does, it focuses on the top of my hand. But you can kind of get the picture of where I'm going there. Everything we put on, we're just applying to the raised parts. Now, body polishing. We've got a polish here. Stay tuned for this. You'll see more of this later on. But this is a mild polish. We also have a compound as well. But for this, because the 2K job was pretty good, I'm happy with it. We just gave it all the light polish. So literally a light polish all over, even, being aware of the edges and where any decals end or start or the 2K is, just to make sure you don't grab it with the cloth, and just give it a nice even polish up all around to give it a nice sheen. So like I say, there is a polish, a compound, a wax and a liquid detail spray as well. Stay tuned for those. I'll speak about more of those in the future. But for now, you can just watch and see the results of it on this later on. So nice even polish all the way around. Put the polish on, work it in, move to another spot, and then I like to come back and just give it a final working over until most of the polish is gone. Then come in with a clean cloth and give it a good final buff up. But it's a really nice polish this, it works really well. Here's our clean cloth. Give it a good buff up. We've done this to every single part on the bike. I'm not going to show every single part because we've shown polishing before. As you can see, we get a nice shine there. We're lucky to get a very nice 2K job out of the gun. We probably could have even got away without polishing, but it's a good final step to do. Make sure you got the best out of the finish that you can. And then at the end, we can give it a wax up as well and give it a real nice shine up. So after all the bodywork's done, we've got our final piece of carbon fibre to do. Now, quite tricky to do. We've got the carbon off already. This is inside the front cowling, screen cowling. Now, the problem with this bike is, and I never noticed, this bike has a longer fairing than the Repsol. So this detail set, whilst it fits and fits all the holes and everything, as you can see at the upmost part on the right of the screen, it's short. Because the Repsol Honda, the other bike that the Tamiya makes, the 06, it must be the Kanika Minolta as well. It's a shorter fairing. So once we get this decal all set in place, we're going straight in with the Ultimate Extra Strong because we know these decals needed to set. We'll cut another piece off. Luckily I have spares of these decals. We'll cut another piece off and we'll piece it. It's a bit of a shame, but I never even noticed that it was a longer from cowling on these. So as you see, get all the right way around, make sure all your holes line up. There's a couple of locating holes you need to be aware of.
one for the fairing support, and one for the screen as well. So once you've got all your decal in place, let this decal solution do its work. It takes its time, as we've seen before, but it does get them down really well in the end. It's patience is the key. Just keep working with the brush. As you can see, there's the whole lot done now. It looks really good. We pieced it as well, so it doesn't look too bad. We made sure our holes were clean for those locating points for the screen. And as you can see, it'll just slot in. So if you need to, clear them out with a drill bit gently. Just be careful of your decals and your clear coat. And as you can see, the screen just clips in place. Not a problem at all. Looking really good. We've got some decals to apply from the original decal set. There's 3 to apply to the screen. So normal decal procedure, make sure everything's lined up before you commit to solutions. And don't leave any solutions to dry on the decals or the glass. So there's one decal, this is the second one. And then repeat on the other side. There's our third one. So get them on, get them where you want, hit them with the decal set and solution. And that's the front screen ready to be put on the bike. First protocol on assembly of the bike, we're going to put the fuel tank on. It does need a bit of persuasion to push it forward to get the hole to line up. And when you're screwing it on, don't apply too much downward pressure because you put a lot of strain on the front forks otherwise. So make sure you're holding it. Make sure this is fully down. It's located into that pin at the back. We've then got our rear seat mount as well. Again, make sure the parts fit before you commit to glue. I had to widen this hole out of touch with my drill. We've got the back piece of the seat on. Be very wary now using CA glue. You're not touching parts with any glue on with your bodywork because it will ruin it in a heartbeat. Bit more CA glue under the seat itself to hold the seat mount on. So we added a good dab on the locating points and a good couple of dabs on where it reaches at the back. There's a locating hole on this. Pop it through. It's a very snug fit anyway. Make sure that's on. There we go. Then our seat itself, we sprayed before with the texture paint. Dabby Sego underneath on the locating point again. And a little bit at the back for a bit more security. You can see the nice shine we got off the polish. Really good. Shame it's covered up, but hey, it's all been done, so we know. And there we go. There's our seat covers, well, seat pads on. Make sure they're straight. Then we've got the rear exhaust section. This just clips over and clips on like so. Starting to get there now. Really starting to look like a MotoGP bike. Front wheel fairing clips over onto the forks. I've already had this on before, we test fitted it. It clips on securely both sides. Make sure it is on both sides, because I'm not quite on one side properly here. And I didn't realise till a bit later on when I fully clicked it home. Like I say, be doubly sure you've got no Seagull on your fingers, because it will ruin things very, very easily. So we kind of skip forward a bit here, because I forgot to include this earlier on. We've got the intakes that need to go on the inner part of the wing. So these have been painted up in semi-gloss black LP5 Tamiya. Just a couple of dabs of CA glue and a little bit of kicker will secure these in place. Hit it with a little bit of kicker, just touch it on a micro brush. Job done. So front cowling, just slot into the little hole. Really take your time here, it's very easy to break things. We'll pop that on. We've got all the side fairings on there already. Let the magnet get contact with it. And then come around to the other side. Now, like I said, I did have a few issues here with some of the parts fouling. And this is where I'm a little bit doubtful of the magnets. While they look a lot better, it did make the stage a lot harder to do. It took a lot more fiddling and lining up to get it on. This lower cowling piece clicks out the back just there. And then there's 2 locating points on the side fairings. Once you get all that on, it's pretty secure. But it's just a bit of a nightmare to try and get it all to line up. Once we've done that, we've got the front fairing support. One bottom half goes onto the frame itself. So a little dab of CA glue on there first. Get the bottom part on roughly where you need it. Then grab the top piece, lift the fairing up a touch and just locate it into the hole. And there we go. Repeat for the other side, job done. Make sure everything's still assembled right. Once you're happy with it, make sure your hands are clean, make sure there's no CA glue showing up, and as you can see, very, very lightly, we've got a little bit of our detail spray on there, our detail shine, which is basically like a spray wax kind of thing. Again, we'll talk about this at a later date. We will have a proper wax as well, but I find it a little bit easier on the bikes just to use this stuff. You literally wipe it on, let it dry, come back, buff it off. And it leaves a very nice high shine. Don't drop the bike whatever you do. Make sure it stays up. And if you do knock it, make sure nothing's fell off. And just work your way around the bike. Getting all your fingerprints off. Your muck and dust. And there we are. That is the bike finished. Very happy how it looks. It's turned out really well. We had a little bit of detail here and there without going too mad. The fairings, I've got a little bit of a gap, but looking at my other bikes, even the ones that are screwed on, they have gaps there too, so not too bad, but very happy with this, really happy how it looks. So stick around, after we have a little chat in a minute. I've got some pictures at the end, we'll have a little chat about the entire build itself.
There we go, that's it, all done, there it is, absolutely brilliant, very happy how it turned out. On the whole, anything could change? Yes, the magnets. Whilst the magnets make it look better without the screws on the fairing, they're a bit of a nightmare to get the panels on. Because we've added some stuff like the hose clamps. One of the hose clamps on the radiator bit where we glued the spigot on that comes out that goes to the engine. One of the clamps there, where it had been glued on, it was pushing that hose out and stopping the panel going on. So I had to take that off. Cut the hose clamp shorter so it wasn't glued at the back, and obviously sand off any of the glue marks to push it back in. Would I use the magnets again? I don't know. They do look a lot better. These are CA glued on. I have CA glued the magnet points to make sure they don't go. They're literally at the point where you touch them, they fall off. We've got a bit of a gap between the fairings and the tank, but looking at my other bikes, they have too. So I'm not really bothered about that, but yeah, the magnets were, the plus is they look a lot better, they look a lot cleaner on the fairings. The minus is it was a lot fiddlier to get the fairings on. There was 4 parts. You got the front cowling, 2 side fairings and the bottom piece to try and all get on together without them falling apart, because the only thing holding them together is 2 small magnets either side and the nose cowling piece, and it's all loose. Literally, you push too far, everything fell off and you're back to square one, and it was driving me around the bend. Eventually I got it all lined up just the way I wanted it, to the point where a couple of dabs of CA glue on the back magnet points, held those on great. The rest of it just need a little bit of persuasion and wiggling to get it into the right area. But yeah, if you're at an aftermarket or different parts, you may struggle getting your fairings on, so bear that in mind if you're going to do it. Would I do it again? I don't know. I kind of like the look, but the ease of screwing them on is a lot better. I don't know, we'll bear that in mind. The next build, I'm going to announce in a bench update a little bit later in the week probably. Waiting on a few of the parts to come, hopefully they'll come pretty soon. And I'll run through the next build. So, the next bike build is, I know what it is. I've ordered a load of aftermarket for it, aftermarket decals, all sorts of stuff for it. So, I will go through that in a bench update later on in the week. So, there we go. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the build. Hope you picked up some info. If you've got any comments or criticisms, pop them down below. But yeah, hopefully you picked up some techniques or tips like I do from everywhere else. You've seen how to do things, how not to do things. And like I said, we're back in the next build. This thing was mostly out of the box with a few aftermarket parts. I added a bit of carbon fibre. The next one will be a bit more in depth. I'll add a full detail set to it. Aftermarket decals, things like that. We'll go to town a little bit more than this. But I've enjoyed the build. It's pushed me through, 15 parts in 2 months. That's a lot of building, a lot of footage and editing. Somebody asked me how many hours I probably had in this, and I reckon I've got about, it's between 60 and 80 hours. It's hard to tell. Each video part has 3 hours, 3+ hours of footage to it. and I'm not filming every single moment. I'm not filming me cleaning every part up. I'm not filming me painting every part. So, you know, 3 hours times 15, there's 30, what is it, 45 hours there that I've got on film, and I reckon I've got at least probably another, you know, double that off camera as well. So there's a good 60, I'd say 70 hours to build this bike. So to get that done in a couple of months isn't bad going at all, and it's really spurred me along, which is the best thing at all. I've not lost interest knowing that I need to get the video part up. It's kept it going, so really enjoyed the build. And thanks everybody who's commented, all the great feedback I've got in the comments, absolutely superb. I've got some pictures, we're going to pop them on now. We'll have a little chat as we go through it all, but just have a run through the build, what we did. I'm going to put them up on Facebook, maybe before the video, I don't know. I'm hoping to get it's Sunday afternoon, it's 2:30, and I've been in here since 8:30 this morning working on this. I am absolutely knackered. It's like a full day at work, it really is. And I've still got to do the voiceover for the video, upload it, render it, upload it to YouTube, taking all the pictures. So will the pictures go today? I don't know, maybe they'll go up on YouTube, Facebook when they go up, and hopefully this will go up either Sunday night or Monday morning. We'll see when we get it edited by. There we are. So before we go, thanks for watching everyone. Make sure you check out the Scale Model Facebook page and forum, umpretail.com, where you can get most of the products I use in these videos, my Paul ISM page, run my personal modern work shirt, the Live the Bench page, and the Off Air Hangout group as well. If you're at Telford Scale Model World, make sure you come and say hello. We're in Hall 1. The bike will be there, along with most of the other video builds, and a few other builds of mine as well, so you couldn't see them in person. And like I said, if you've got any comments, criticisms, whatever, let me know in the comments down below. So there we go. Let's go and have a look at the bike, and let's have a look at some pics.
So I grabbed some pictures of this thing naked before we put all the fairings on yesterday. It looks great. Some of the detail we had with the Tamiya fork set, we had the Top Studio clutch set, Top Studio caliper spacers, the shift linkage, the foot pegs, cable tensioners. They look really well. The Top Studio carbon fiber set as well looks great. We had some Scale Motorsport stuff as well, and a few little personal changes here and there. We're very happy with it. It looks absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful looking bike, beautiful scheme of an iconic rider as well. And yeah, I'm very happy with this. I love the Honda Rc211s. I think they're fantastic. They're beautiful bikes, and there's just something about them I really like. So overall, happy with the build. Nothing can really change. The magnets are a pain, like I said. Whether we'll use them again, I don't know. But the carbon work, very happy with that. Looks great. My heat stain on the exhaust, I think that looks great myself. Quite subtle about being OTT. Just overall as a build, very happy with it. And I've really enjoyed this build. Like I say, probably 70 hours of work in this over the last couple of months. Yeah, and that's not including video editing and uploading the videos, which takes quite a while too. So happy to get this off the bench, and really looking forward to the next bike build, which we're going to start hopefully pretty soon. I'm going to have some time off because it's Telford soon. And I'll announce the next build midweek, and we'll have a look at that and see where we're going to go with that one. It's quite interesting. Hopefully you're going to like it. But yeah, this is a beautiful looking scheme, iconic rider, iconic scheme, LCR Hondas, and yeah, it's great. I'm very happy with this. I think I've said I'm very happy with it about 400 times, but that's because I am. There's a lot of work gone into this, a lot of stress as well, and it really is nice to get it off the bench. So there we go. I hope everyone's enjoyed the build. Like I say, if you're at Telford Scale Model World, it'll be on our UMP table. Come on over and say hello. Come and have a look at the bike and all the other car video builds we've done. I'll have some of my other bikes there as well. And just make sure you come and say hello. So thanks to everyone who supported the build and left comments. I'm glad everyone's enjoyed it. I have too. And here's to the next one. Hopefully it'll be as popular a build.